What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Strength Classroom. Today, I'm going to show you max effort lower body, starting off with some seated broad jumps. I just realized there's a variation you could do here. You could just do it from standing broad jumps, or you can do them seated. So that's an option if you're looking for some form of variation with your jumps. Just like when you do hurdle jumps, you can do them from standing. You can do multiple jumps. You can do them seated like they are here. You can take off, like do a couple of steps forward. You can sprint towards the hurdle. There's so many different things. So if you're thinking variation just means add weight, add reps, add bands, add chains, there's so many more different ways you can vary the exercises while still getting the same desired outcome of the exercise. So what I typically do, I'll set a timer and then have a goal in mind for the amount of reps I'm going to do. And I typically do this between and warming up for whatever my first lower body exercise is of the day. It allows me to go a little bit faster, feel like I'm moving the weights faster. That rep, I've watched that rep so many times and it just looks weird. It's like I fell through quicksand as I jumped off. So now you see me go to box squats. I work up to a heavy double using the cambered bar. And to me, a box squat is totally different than a free squat. And I've said this multiple times. And it's different than a pause squat as well. Think of this as like a floor press for your lower body. Not a pin press, not a board press, specifically a floor press. Because think of it this way. When you're doing a floor press, your triceps are actually resting on the floor as opposed to a pin press where the pin is resting, the bar is resting up against the pins. And then a board press is the board is up against your body along with the bar. Whereas here, a pin squat would be having the bar up against the pins. Whereas here, it's the actual glutes and the back of your thighs. So this is my top set, 405 for a double. I could have probably squeezed out one more. And I'm like, you know what? Leave a little bit in the tank. That's always my rule. Just leave a tiny bit in the tank most of the workouts. Every once in a while, you do have to push it, but most of your workouts, leave some room to progress. It allows your progression to go longer, and it allows you to be able to keep those exercises in the rotation. You don't need to max out progression every time you're using an exercise and get it out of the rotation as quick as possible. Because then, if you think about it, the faster you make progress, you're just going to lose it just as fast. And so here I just did one back down set. This is, what is this? 275, 315 pounds. With, is that 350? Whatever. Somewhere around there. And I did it for a set of 10. High rep box squats are actually really useful. I find they really carry over to deadlift strength just because there is a dead stop right there. You can see there is this component of having to go with all your force at once. And that's why it's a very effective exercise to build both your squat and deadlift. And here I went over to my secondary exercise. I'm going to perform these differently the next time I do them, but I'm just going to stick with safety squat bar good mornings. I feel those are my favorite variation. But when I do these, I'm not going to round my back so much. I'm not going to do as much range of motion as you see here. I just feel like it's kind of unnecessary. And if I do want to go with this range of motion, I'm not going to hinge as much. That's what I'll say. I'm not going to hinge as much. And then I moved on to some step ups. I bounced back and forth between that and the Zercher Good Mornings. So these are pretty high step ups, as you can see. I guess when in terms of depth, instead of like a squat, you would say just below parallel. Here, I'm just above parallel. Or no, I'm still below parallel. Never mind, that makes no sense. But these are a very underutilized exercise. Too many people just use lunges and split squats as their single leg work. And honestly, put in some medium to heavy step ups, and you'll be amazed at the potential gains that you've missed out on by just completely ignoring these exercises. The key is to do them from a high enough point and to emphasize the front leg doing most of the work. Don't be jumping off with your back foot and stuff like that. You're having inconsistent gains because you can't really measure how much you're using on your back foot. So that is what is going to allow you to not really track the progression, because then instead of moving, you're just moving weight at that point, which is fine, but the progression is kind of weird. You're not going to be able to track it as well as you would is if you try to focus all your effort with the front or working leg. So I just bounce back and forth between these exercises. The front rack position with the kettlebell, the decision that was made is typically I would have wanted to use my safety squat bar for this and really load up the weight. But because I was using the rack for the Zercher Good Mornings, I couldn't. Next time, I think I'm just going to pull them straight off the floor and go from there, or maybe squat it up, get into like the full Zercher position, so I can then go heavy with these step ups. But just 2 sets of each, nothing crazy. And then I went into like the smaller exercises of this workout, reverse hypers and band hamstring curls. Really nothing much to say here. What I like about the band hamstring curls, you just fire out the reps. You can squeeze if you want, but there's no point doing a slow negative on these at all, considering the amount of tension is going down as you release, I guess, your ankles towards the rack. So to me, this is just pump work. It's really good for the tendons around the knees, and it's good to do at the end of your workout. You could do it with arms, you can do it with quads, you can do it with so many different things. It's just a really great exercise. And then just reverse hypers, nothing fancy. But that's all for this workout, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And as always, have yourself a great day.